Thank you very much to all our viewers around the world, in the country, those in diaspora as well, and those that are following us on all our social media. And also a warm welcome to Teledal on the Fix Show that we have here every Friday. And of course, we do discuss issues of national development, and we talk about issues that need to be ironed out to move our country forward. Of course, this is a year of election, and today the topic would be discussions and issues that would be coming out from the public and what we think at our opinion level ahead of the December 2026 election. Today in the studios, we've got familiar faces to Teledal, familiar faces to the Gambia media fraternity, and we'll be discussing issues in that case. I am your host, Mohamed Jallo, and we do appreciate our followers and also the sponsors, Africell, to this show. And we do welcome you, and we'll be right back after this break.
We've got fantastic new social media bundles just for you. Here are your options.
50 megabytes for $10 is valid for 1 day.
Enjoy 400 megabytes for $40, valid for 7 days.
Get a massive 1,200 megabytes for $100 is only, valid for 7 days.
Simply dial *120# and press 3 to pick the social media bundle that suits you best. Subscribe now.
Why settle for one when you can talk with two? With the Africell TOK service. For just $99, you get a massive 1,200 minutes of talk time to share between your two favorite people. To activate, dial *135#, select your two Africell numbers, and you're locked in for a full month of conversations. Africell, connecting you to your peoples.
Thank you very much. Like we said earlier in our introduction, we do have familiar faces today in the studio on a Teledal. I will start from on my left hand here, Tony Michael Howard. Tony, you're welcome to another episode of The Fix.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a beautiful opportunity to be sharing this platform with great intelligentsia like you and Mr. Tijan Janin, and even to talk about Gambia politics today ahead of the elections. It's more humbling to form part of this platform today.
Thank you very much, Tony Michael Howard. On my right-hand side here, I've got Tijan Jane. Tijan has been, of course, in the media fraternity all his life, or majority part of his life. And, of course, he's been speaking to Gambians at different levels with different languages and actually sensitizing people. And you cannot sensitize people in different parts of development in this country without mentioning politics. Tijan, you're welcome to The Fix Show.
Well, thank you very much, Mohamed Jallo. Thank you very much, Michael. It's a great pleasure to be part of this special edition of The Fix. Mohamed, like you mentioned, politics is on the lips of every Gambian, you know, because we have almost 6 months to go. And the stakes are high for the nation, and also the stakes are high for Gambians. So in every quarter that you think of and you know of, Gambians are talking politics from different angles, from different perspectives. But this is who we are.
Thank you very much, Tijan. If I was to let you go as a media, of course, partner, I would not have enough of what you were saying. But Tony Michael Howard, you are a Gambian today by resident. You are a Gambian today by family. You are a Gambian today by what you have inculcated in our educational sector in this country. Mm-hmm. You've known this country now, and this is what you know for the past several years. By a look of things, what do you think will emanate from the reactions of people towards politics this year?
Well, I think one of the greater things that have happened to this country in the last close to 10 years now is the enabling political environment for all to thrive. No disrespect to the former president, Yahya Jammeh, because he had very massive stride at the time, but there were a few areas that had challenges, like the media space. At that time, it was quite difficult for even a child to tell the parents that I want to study journalism. Mm-hmm. Like, where do you want to do that job? It was challenging to do that here. But if you take note of the current dispensation right now, and that is what the Gambian people fought for, so that the right society is given to them to air their opinion, to hold accountable the leadership of the country. So I think headed to this election, the space is already provided. People are talking. You see the social media policing. You have the WhatsApp Gambia. You have different media institutions, those that are conventional and unconventional. Then we expect nothing less but constructive critique. from the masses to the power that be, including potential leadership in almost every ramification. So I expect a very competitive political battlefield where the right man will have the chance to win.
Thank you, Mikel.
Yeah, I think I'm going to quite agree with him. And also one credit that you need to give to Gambians is their maturity when it comes to politics. And we have seen in other parts of Africa and even in other developed countries, you know, where the countdown to election is being marked by violence and, you know, hate speech and a whole host of, you know, problems. Yes, even during Jammeh's time, we know that if you look at the media, it was a bit stifled. People don't have that ability to express themselves and all not. But at the same time, you will also acknowledge the political maturity of Ghanaians. I think that is something that we have inherited from independence down. Yes, of course, we can have our own different opinions. We can be part of, or we can all support a particular political party. But this is Gambia. No matter what, at the end of the day, you know, right? We reconcile, you know, and then once politics is over, it's over. It's over, right? We don't carry politics like every day in and out. It doesn't create enmity and stuff like that. That reminds me of my grandfather. May he so rest in perfect peace. In those days, he was supporting Sadauda, and his wife was UP. Right? So can you imagine in that house? And guess what? On the day of election, my grandfather happens to hide the wife's voter's card, because in those days the voter's cards were the paper. You know, because the old man's house was like fire. Of course. Because that woman was so, you know. Today these are the people we call yai compins. You know, they will go all out. Every meeting they will attend, and you know, they believe to the core. You know what I mean? Very energetic, and that particular morning, this woman wake up as early as Fajr just to go and vote, prepare and everything. When it is time to leave the house, the voter's card was nowhere to be. So now you can see, even at the house level, and up till today, right? It's the same thing that we see. So I think that credit can also be given to Gambians.
Now, Tijan, I'm just going to ask you this question. Looking at the way we've grown, you just talk about maturity, and that's why I'm asking this question, because it becomes in context where we're heading with this conversation. Now, politically, there are very much popular people. Will you still say, based on all the political leaders that have come to this country, Yahya Jammeh still is the most popular politician in this country?
To some extent, yes, because, you know, Jammeh was at the head of the affairs of this country for almost 22 years. And this is a time also when a whole lot of development really happened, especially when it comes to exposure, right, with Gambians. So I can be very honest to you. Before Jammeh came in, people don't even know what CNN was. You talk about CNN, they don't even know what CNN was. People don't even know what was happening. GRTS. What was happening outside the wall, and that was the truth, right? And then, you know, if you look at the strikes being made in terms of education, and today, if you ask me, Jammeh's greatest legacy is not about the infrastructure, but it's the human capital, right? And today, that is the same people now who are taking care of this country, right? Yes, of course. Another thing that makes him very, very popular, and up till now we sit and talk about Jammeh, is the draconian laws. You know, Jammeh was very impatient when it comes to democracy. He doesn't believe all those things. He defined democracy in his own way, and, you know, a whole lot of things were curtail people's freedom to associate, freedom to speak. So, because of those reasons, I believe that up till now, that is why Jammeh is still remembered. But I always also say this. It's difficult for us to forget about Jammeh, because from my own POV, the current administration still make Jammeh to be very relevant.
That's a strong one.
No, but that's the truth.
the administration do put him still at the forefront of their dialogue on a daily basis.
Look, in 2016, 2017, 2018, up to around 2020, everything about, or let me say quality time, talking about Yaya Jammeh, when we should have concentrated on something different. But this is my own opinion.
Right.
Because every quarter, everything is being dominated by Jammeh thing. Yes, remember, the Jammeh Commission was here, the TRRC and everything. It was just like all our focus was on what Jammeh has done, you know, and then the Jammeh assets, and everything was about Jammeh, 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 Jammeh. So we gave Jammeh that relevance, even into our own politics. Because for me, in the first place, I don't even understand why. Yes, when sometimes people argue that it is democracy. Because for me, Jammeh is already out of this country in Equatorial Guinea and whatsoever. Why do we still continue to give Jammeh space in our political sphere? That Jammeh can be in Equatorial Guinea and then manipulating whatever party he has here? Come on.
No,
and you said that is democracy.
Let me hear you. Because I'm about to tell you one
You made a very clever point about the relevance of Jammeh, but I can understand from Gambian perspective at the time. He says 2017-18 up to 2020, Jammeh was still involved in the conversation. This is one thing that is tough to actually grab a hand around. Mind you, this is a man who stayed at the helm of affairs for 22 uninterrupted years. And it was almost a mission impossible to have heard that Yaya Jammeh was going to leave the plate of power. So when it took place, the first 2-3 years, it was tough for Gambians to even accept. Even till now, there are core Jammeh supporters who have not come to terms that he's left this country. He's left the helm of affairs. They still carry him in the mind, body, and souls. So you would have expected such conversations to still be on the lips of the people, especially with the emergence of the TRC, where bulk of the allegations, bulk of the testimonies of those who visited the TRC, they were all surrounded by Yaya Jammeh. So we would have expected the conversation to still be all over. I don't think it's out of place, not relevance, but we have the negative aspect of that relevance. Because bulk of the allegations were all about him. So I can understand from a Gambian perspective.
I understand very well, Mikel, when you come to that angle. But Tijan, how would you take a critic that come up to you and tell you, even at the point we are right now, there are other coalitions that are coming on board. APRC, a faction, a member of the National People's Party today as part of the coalition in the incumbents. Now, another fraction of them also are still calling themselves No to the Alliance. Right. Now, the No to the Alliance play a key role because they understand the dynamics of politics in this country. Now, what do you foresee coming from the NPP to maintain power? Because still you could hear new parties coming, which is going to form core of this conversation today. They're going to go against NPP either they like it or not. And some of them will go into coalitions. And as a matter of fact, the allegation is NPP will win with a minority.
To some extent, yes, you are right. You see, today you are putting me on
the spot.
Yes.
And one thing I have seen President Barrow doing is trying to move away from, that dependency on Jammeh. Yes, 2021 he went into coalition with the APRC, and we've seen a division within the party and stuff like that. But now, if you look at the way President Barrow is conducting himself, right? It's like it's more of relying on himself now, right? Than going after all these other alliances. Because what he's using now is his development strides taken or achieved. It's now what the president is using, you understand, to campaign or, to still show some of the things that he's doing. So unlike 2021, when, when the president was a bit soft towards some of these alliances, because we've seen even the president going all the way to Jammeh's hometown in Kanila, because at that time, yes, of course, he needs the APRC to back them. And then, but for me, they say politics is all about numbers. Quite true. But the way I'm seeing the president going, for me, I think that is the right direction. You have to make people to believe that right? You steal the right person, and what do you put on the table? It's your development strategy, your government programs, your government policies. And this is what he's doing now. So for me, it's just like, well, whether all the other parties come on board or not, the man has a very strong footing.
Now, see, Mikel, what Tijan is saying, yes, we all resonate to this. We understand.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is because some people have literally abandoned their parties for the NPP in the name of coalition, in the name of alliance. Some of these parties are parties like the National, NRP, National Reconciliation Party. They did not really leave the party, but their powers are now gone on the NPP. Now, it happened in Liberia as well when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left power and new powers are coming on board. Things had to change. This is Africa. And this is why sometimes when I hear Africans or Gambians start saying, this person is a political prostitute, you ask yourself, the movement of an individual, change of an ideology from one political party to another, it has been there all the time.
A lot of ages.
That's been there. That's what politics is all about.
Donald Trump was once a Democrat.
Democrat. So
and then eventually...
So you understand.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is, look, Mikel, we have NRP, we have GPDP, we have, of course, other parties like, I think, not PAP is still independent.
NCP?
The NCP. These parties come together, of course, to back Barrow.
Okay.
Now, there are chances other two coalitions will come. One of the coalitions that will come is the take me and put me on the record.
Okay.
The UDP will come together with the UMC. And when that happens, what do you foresee? There is a franchise, which is a breakaway from
doubt that one.
Okay.
I like the fact that you think like...
I even want to cleverly come in right away.
And then get that out. And because the UDP will come together with UMC, that the fraction of the NPP that forms the Lamin Simas, the Kebama, the Bojangs, that group of people coming from, they are a big group. If you see them talking today, it's like when the Sierra Leonean first lady want to now go into politics to become a flag bearer, to become a presidential candidate in Sierra Leone. So you wouldn't do this without the support of a public. You wouldn't do this without the support of the masses. So my point here is that 3 coalitions might go to elections in 2026 in the Gambia.
Okay.
And when that happens, what do you foresee? And if that would not happen, what do you foresee? Because definitely no single party will ever win politics in this country as long as we have multi-party system.
Look, Mohammed, let's be honest with ourselves here. The opposition corners of the Gambian democratic space is not structured in the manner to tactically produce a very competitive election for President Adama Barrow come December. But unfortunately, we have 6 months to go, 5th December. If you look at it tactically, less than 6 months. So the
6 months from tomorrow.
The multiplicity of political parties, the multiplicity of opposition political party in the country is at the advantage of the incumbent.
You mean the fact that the more parties they have,
the more parties they have, the better
incumbent.
chances it is for the incumbent for President Adama Barrow. This is a concise political space of the Gambia. You have less than 1 million to 1.2 million voters. And if you have like 4 or 5 different political parties and call that oppositions having like a 2-3 coalition, the numbers are divided. And to inject clever the way you says that the United Democratic Party will go to the UMC, you're not recognizing the ego of the UDP. to go to a young man who has been described by most of the sympathizers of the UDP as a betrayer to the United Democratic Party. And for an Oseno Dabo to see himself rolling back to a guy that left in a field that he's matured enough to fend for himself, more of a prodigal son, I see that as almost a mission impossible. But politics is about interest.
You can never say never.
No permanent
never
enemies, no permanent interest. So everything is possible. But I don't see the UMC going to the UDP. I don't equally see the UDP turning to the UMC for that. That's like almost out of it, even though to every law there is an exception. Now you come to the ruling party, President Adama Barrow, just like Mr. Janet says, he's depending on his developmental stride. One important thing he's done in this country is that the media space is enabling. Anybody can sit in the little corners and hold their mobile phone and constructively, possibly destructively critique the leadership without anything happening to you. This is a country we've seen now compared to Yahya Jammeh era where a lone citizen like an Oseno Bojang, who come from, no disrespect to him, but a low background, competing with national government in court and then winning a case. where the government is on the verge of filing an appeal. That shows you that the democratic space is enabling. That shows that the judicial system of this country is independent. There's no overlap of function. There is no influence of the executive over the judiciary. And that's a message for the masses to understand that we did not have this process in place prior to now. So I want to agree with Mr. Jana that the developmental stride of the president is giving him the sense of political maturity heading forward. Mind you, he's clever enough to have brought on board Dr. Ismaila Ceesay of the Citizen Alliance, whom many thought was the future of this country. But now he's brought him over to his government as the Minister of Information. You have the likes of a Momodu Sabali who can talk you down at any moment and then slap votes out of you in no time. Ceasing from the United Democratic Party to the NPP now. You have another consistent politician in the Amaba of the NRP. Then you have another Gomez, or the Manjago guy, on board, Henry Gomez of the NPP. So I'm submitting to you that it's a formidable force headed to December 5th election. Opposition might not want to hear this, but until there's a structured opposition camp that has a unifying coalition that is just one, not 2, 3, 4. You expect a landslide victory from President Adama Barrow come 5th December of this year.
In the same question, what is your thought in this? Because certainly it is something that's been talked about, and I have watched the leadership of UMC go around and say people are approaching them from all angles. And my point is, if people are approaching you and you want the people, why not? Secondly, UMC is still UMC, is still a movement. It's not yet a party as far as I'm concerned. But they just had a Congress. We saw the public. They just had a mass rally. We saw the crowd. Did that say NPP? Why are you thinking that? Ahmad went online and said the only party or the only person there is their problem is Taliban Suda. So I am looking at them as, yes, they are strong, but they're still timid. Why do you think they should put their house in order, they themselves as incumbent, let alone the opposition? Because there is a chance for very strong coalitions to come, even though they know they wouldn't win, but they'll still just go to spoil votes.
Yeah, if you, looking at UMC, I think they pose more risk to the NPP than to the UDP. You see, the UDP...
And I like that, but it's the truth.
Yes. You see, the UDP, okay, let me just say the way I think. I think UDP is just like a cult. When I say cult, it's just like, you see, the UDP supporters, right, will always support that party. Come what may.
Loyalty.
It's there. So the tendency to have a mass movement or exodus from UDP, that tendency is very, very narrow. Let me tell you one thing about UDP, which is a fact. They can quarrel, they can, you know, they can fight, they can do everything, but at the end of the day, they will all go back to their base. They will all go back to Baba. Right?
Tijan, do you think if Baba decides to relinquish power, that will still get the UDP together?
At this juncture, that one also is very risky. So now let me just come back to the UMC thing. For me, the UMC, if they're to tap supporters, they're going to tap from the NPP. Right? Because the tendency to get UDP, especially what they call in Mandinka the Lanzaros,
the diehards,
the diehards, the cores, they don't move. So the thing is with UMC, most likely, you know, they will take from other parties, but perhaps the base will be from NPP, or they will attempt to have more supporters from the NPP, and also what we call floating voters. Now, floating voters, these are people who are not into any political party. You hardly see them
just as the name stipulates, floating voters.
So, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Because these are, sometimes, and in fact, these floating voters, they decide elections. Because the thing is, these are the ones that will just wake up one morning and they will all go vote for just one person. And I think that was actually what happened in 2021.
For the landslide victory of the NPP.
Yes.
Now, Tijan, both of you, I'm going to ask you first. Okay. Now, we do thank our viewers for following us. The interesting conversation here being carried on in the studio by myself, Mohamed Jallo, and my two guests, Tijan Jane, and of course, Tony Michael Howard. Tony Michael Howard, we've looked at the core de la creme, of course, let me call it the creme de la creme of society that really drives the electorate, the youth. What makes you believe that Gala would not go all out to mobilize young people to vote against the incumbent?
Well, in every democratic space, we say criticism is the most important tool to overhaul any democratic engine. But mind you, outside a protest organizing body like Gala, they've all got their respective political parties. Take it from me.
Are they from a party, you mean?
No, they are not from the party. Gala is an institution that is set to critiquing leadership.
But that's what should be.
Yeah, that's what I said. Criticism is the most important tool to overhaul democratic engine. But mind you, they've had a reservations of government. That is the beauty of a democracy. That's where even Mr. President has to be saluted. Where you have auxiliary body, you have pressure groups that are always putting the government on their toes, on their feet, to ensure that the right things happen. That's a salute to the incumbency. There were moments that in Liberia we did not have that under Chancellor's government. When you want to move in the street and he speaks our language, he says, I want to see Ene Kpolowa in the street. That is Kpolowa. I cannot even explain the meaning here. It's not good for the platform. But I just use So what we're trying to say in essence is that, yeah, Gala might go all out to, mold the minds of the masses against the current leadership of President Adama Barrow. But the political space is open. People are seeing the evidence of development over the place. At least I have been here since 2011. You can see the road connectivities in this country. I'm not seated here as a pro-Adama Barrow. I'm not voting. I don't have voting right. I'm a Liberian here who has a chance to air my view, and I have lived here for donkey years, and I know how the space is like. Any governmental institution, any leadership that provides an enabling environment for people to have an opportunity to constructively or destructively critique without looking on your shoulders for arrest or looking on your shoulders for getting missing. These people know what they want. Yeah. So due respect to Gala for keeping government on the toes, but that is not an instrument that can be able to undermine the quality of leadership that President Adama Barrow has provided and continues to provide.
Thank you.
So I don't
Thank
think
you very much.
To some extent, I quite agree with you. And you see, Mohammed, one thing also we need to observe, if you look at most of these major political parties, they have a very strong youth wing. Yes. If you go within the UDP, for example, you have so many young people who are UDP. You come to the NPP camp, the same thing. You go to the UMC camp, equally you have. So now the tendency for Gala to mobilize young people,
influence,
towards a particular political party might prove a little
We are going for a short break, but before we go to that, Tijan, before we go for this short break, of course we are due for break right now, but just for a quick one, looking at the trend, I just want you to give an advice to the NPP and the incumbent leadership of this country. Look at the trend. Few months ago, we had the Gala, another one Gala, and then we are now having some, people will call it sabotage also. Electricity is fluctuating day and night, water fluctuating day and night. Some of them don't have it. We just had this commander of the defense staff just resign. And coming from, my question is going towards the media, the power of the media. Don't you think, apart from the pressure group, apart from the civil, of course, the societies, don't you think the media is now playing a key role in putting pressure on people and also monitor corruption and ensure that when something goes wrong, they blow the trumpet so high that some people can't take the pressure, they have to resign?
Yes.
Because there's no trial.
I don't think that the media is putting pressure on people to...
What happened to CDS?
You see, one thing also we have to acknowledge, that President Barrow is a real Democrat. Like him or not, he's very accommodating and he's very tolerant. Because this is, in fact, one of the reasons why you mentioned the Gala from one protest to other. And he allowed all these things to happen.
We had Defadoy here. We had all these
everything.
Team Gums.
And the truth of the matter is, honestly, the man is the president is a real Democrat.
Of course.
And in a democratic society, yes, of course, these are some of the things that you see every day, every night, or year in, year out. So it shows that we have a functioning democracy in this country.
So what's your advice? Your advice? Do you know in this election year?
I think for the NPP, there is no room for complacency, right? Because they are now telling you game over. And I'm always against this idea of game over. The game is even yet to start.
Thank you.
And I think NPP, they need to know that. Because you see, in 2016, one of the failures of Yahya Jammeh was like he underrated this coalition. Because we had Jammeh. I was with Jammeh during the during the campaign.
Okay.
Like he was saying, who are the H word?
Who the hell are they?
These people,
Yeah.
you know, to challenge me with after all what I have done for this country.
If you don't vote for me, whatever the Jins will vote for me.
Mind you,
But do you know when Jammeh realized that,
something is happening.
this is not game over? In fact, do you realize that Gambia has decided?
Yes.
It came from Yahya Jammeh. Gambia has decided.
Yeah.
Yes, because for him, it's a win all over. So Gambians have decided. It was later when the batting turned, then, you know, you have all these opposition and all these other people taking it up. But that actually Gambia has decided. It was
Thank
Yahya,
you
because
very
for
much.
Yahya Jammeh, the game was over. Not quickly before we go for a break. So for me, as far as the NPP is concerned, there is no room for complacency, right? They have to still go on. They have their own campaign strategies that is in place, and they need to really work on that. When we come back, we'll also look at this coalition that is in the process of
making up,
yes.
It's coming up, and I do
And
thank
what
you.
that means,
Of course,
and
of
what
course,
that can also,
of course.
you know,
Thank you very much,
produce,
Tijan
yeah.
Jane. Thank you very much again, Michael Howard, for coming to the show with me. We do thank our viewers. We are proud of our sponsors, Africell, Nyokoyor, they commonly call themselves, and we're really happy that, of course, people are following, and some of the comments we will be getting, and we will really react to them. And we do thank everyone. We'll be right back after this break. We'll discuss more in detail of what we're really looking forward to see coming these 2026 elections. We'll be right back after this break.
You can now turn your loyalty points into data or voice bundles. Simply dial *772#, press 1 to check how many points you've got, press 2 to redeem those points. Recharge on AfriCell, buy credit on AfriMoney, buy cash power. Lord Efrek, you get points. Even when you redeem, your total points still stack up, giving you a chance to win one of 2 luxury AfriCell villas. AfriCell, 25 years of rewarding loyalty, and we're just getting started.
Okay, we thank you very much again for being with us all this while. In the studios here, like I said,